Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and another video game review. So I just completed the demo for the latest HoYoverse turn-based RPG game, Honkai Star Rail. And you would think HoYoverse would be content off the billions it made ripping off Breath of the Wild, but no, HoYoverse apparently does not have enough money for their stupid virtual Wii metaverse initiative. So now they're back to waste our time again, but this time with a Persona 5 ripoff that they're calling Honkai Star Rail. Now, to be fair, Genshin Impact was able to differentiate itself from Breath of the Wild by not having weapon durability. Like, the reason Genshin Impact popped off in such a major way was because it was marketed as sort of, do you love Breath of the Wild but hate pausing the game every 10 seconds due to its shitty weapon durability system? Well, give Genshin Impact a try then. More or less, that's what happened. Despite every aspect of Genshin Impact being objectively worse than Breath of the Wild, it still became massively successful as HoYoverse team smartly didn't rip off weapons breaking every 3 swings. I myself do prefer Genshin to Breath of the Wild because of this. Unfortunately, unlike Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail I can't help but just see as a massive downgrade from its Persona 5 counterpart. Now, the main area I expected Honkai Star Rail to improve on from Persona 5 was its general world and exploration. Unfortunately, this is not the case, as exploring the world of Star Rail is very dull and lethargic. Don't get me wrong, the graphics and visuals of the game are very good, but you can only walk around and look at the buildings in the city of Jellicoe. You can't actually climb on top of them and paraglide off into the distance. This I found quite shocking, as I assumed HoYoverse would just borrow the character physics engine from Genshin Impact that had all the climbing, jumping, and gliding, but apparently that is not the case. Thus, what we are left with is a game world that feels very detached from the player. The only way you interact with the world in the game is by running around and pressing buttons. There is no physics, no fun traversal, no elemental reactions. It's just running around and pushing buttons. Running around more and pushing more buttons. Pushing buttons and running around. You can also text your characters and take pictures. While adventuring through the lands of Jellicoe, you will notice the world is overrun with these terrifying stationary mannequins. These beings fructuously hold their assigned positions for all eternity in this cruel world where the sun either never sets or never rises, depending on which environment you are cursed to inhabit. If an immersion-breaking prompt appears, you can engage one of these mannequins in dialogue, to which they will vomit out paragraphs of verbal diarrhea. Said verbal diarrhea will usually prove fruitless info, though sometimes it may assign you a task to run around and push buttons. The last element to the game is its turn-based combat system, which honestly there's not a whole lot to say about it, as it's just very basic and lacking in strategy. There's no skill inheritance, no mana management, no tactical item use, and overall it's just nothing like Persona 5. I reckon making the combat very simple was done purposely, as HoYoverse ideally would want to make the game very approachable for the Genshin Impact player base, who unfortunately tend to be a bit more daft than average. Like, if we just go to Twitter, search for Genshin Impact, and then sort by latest, more often than not we will find a below average intelligence being. If I was so inclined, I could make this very tweet into a whole video to farm incel viewers to circle jerk how dumb Twitter users are in the comments. My point is, it's like the game was developed to answer the question, how do we make a strategy game that requires thinking playable for this person? And as someone with over a decade of experience in video game theory crafting for turn-based games, whether it be Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics or Pokemon, I just found that the combat in Honkai Star Rail did not mentally challenge me in any way, and I was able to beat the final boss severely underleveled.